What's good? We back. Got a few more boxing jewels to drop on y'all real quick for tonight. Then we gone. We get into some of that real boxing, talk tomorrow. There's a few fights going on tomorrow for sure, but it's the Box Clinic, your boy CJ Goodfella. And a lot of people talking about, Terence Crawford's interview he did with Kevin Iole on Yahoo Sports. And, they taking the key words from that conversation. And shout out to Boxing Ego, Real Recognize Real. And, he said, he went over the conversation with, that Crawford had about, fighting the PBC fighters. And he said that Bob has assured him that nothing is stopping them from fighting, the PBC fighters. He said it got to make sense for both sides. And I know guys that watch my video have seen me completely harp on this conversation so much, but it's become relevant again. So it's a lot of people that haven't heard it. So I'm going to keep pushing it out, So it might sound a little bit redundant, and I apologize for that. But makes sense for both sides. It does not make sense for both sides. But before I get into that, he did point out the key factor that Terence Crawford did face John Molina and Felix Diaz. And a lot of people have said that and brought that up into my argument. But my argument is this. Those guys are sacrificial lambs. Even with HBO, Al Heyman sent Dominic Wade over to face Gennady Golovkin. Dominic Wade was an Al Heyman fighter. So when the scales are A side versus like really C side, D side, E side, F side type of fighters, they can make those deals happen because Felix Diaz and John Molina are not commanding A side money. It's just not going to happen. You don't have to pay them a lot of money. I think Felix Diaz made, $250,000? But if you're talking about an Earl Spencer with Keith Thurman, that's a for a big unification bout. I mean, I think, Earl Spencer made 3.5 fighting Lamont Peterson. I know the guaranteed purse at 1.5. He was fronting $2 million and then made 1.5 on the back end. Keith Thurman made $2.5 million facing Leonard Bundini Bundu. So those guys going to be at least looking to make $3.5 million just to face Terence Crawford. And Crawford said it got to make sense on both sides. So is ESPN willing to dish out the lion's share of that money to make that fight happen? Is Showtime willing to dish out the lion's share of that money to make that happen? Now, that's up for them to decide. So it ain't up to me to do that. But at the end of the day, we know how it works. And I spoke on it several times about how the money situation works. Showtime might give them $5 million for this fight. And people say 2.5, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But it don't work like that. They might get 1.5 apiece, that's $3 million, and the other two, is pocketed by the promoter, and then he pays the undercard with some of the money, probably like $500K or something like that, for a top-ranked undercard, But from Al Heyman's perspective, it don't make sense. And I said it several times, and if he's a businessman, a true businessman that I know that he is, that every great businessman in history has been pretty much shrewd, it's simple. Why would you supply the cattle, for another farmer when you got all the cattle yourself? And what I'm saying is here. You got all these fighters, for one belt, the WBO belt that historically PBC and, fighters hadn't cared about. So why would you make that fight? Does Crawford bring a pay-per-view S-type fight to the deal? No, it's not a pay-per-view fight. Then it would be no issue with network it really fell on. Because the pay-per-view would do the talking. Al Heyman has every welterweight that matters. Now, I think y'all see where I'm getting at now once again. Why not? Why would you go head up? And you don't have to be the mandatory to that welterweight, you feel me? Why would you go head up with Terence Crawford? Why would you put your guys in there with Terence Crawford? When you can say, no, we good. We don't want to fight Crawford. And after a while, Crawford going to get frustrated. Why these fights not happening? Oh, people forgetting about me pound for pound. You got Usyk winning the Cruiserweight Championship. You got Keith Thurman and Earl Spence getting it on. They going to be put above me pretty soon. You got guys like Golovkin, Canelo battling. Charlos battling, Aristotle Laura, Herb battling. You got guys that's moving up the scales. And I'm staying stagnant, facing WBO mandatories that don't matter. Then he going to start being mad at Bob Arum. Because he ain't getting no fights with the PBC fighters because they got all the belts. So basically, Al Heyman can just freeze Terence Crawford out. And Crawford is eventually going to have to come crawling to him unless he's going to move up and move down in weight. And say, well, Al, I see what you did with Mikey Garcia, getting him out that deal and getting him free. I see what you did with Floyd Mayweather. Because you helped me out with Bob Arum to get me free and I come over there and fight with you. Period. And that should be the aim. Even if it doesn't work out that way, and Terence is refusing to do that, then you can see in Sean Porter, when your fighters get ranked real high in the WBO and become as mandatory, win the purse bid, you can shoot a fair one there and just juke them on the cards, or have one of the guys go over there and beat them or something like that and get the belt away from them. It's big, it's strategic. Now the only way this fight happens is Errol Spence get all the belts, or Keith Thurman get all the belts, and they demand that Al Haymon make that fight with Terence Crawford happen. And the way Keith Thurman is going, if he wins that fight, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You can forget about that. We see where his mindset is at now, but it's basic business. Why supply the sauce to Bob Arum when you can have you can have the chicken nuggets to dip it in? It's period. That's what it is. It's smart business 101. Make Terence Crawford come to you and make him come to your network and fight under your contract, and you make those fights happen. That's simple. Bob Arum been doing that for years. Baiting people to sign with Top Rank like Marquez and Bradley for a Pacquiao fight. It's time for Al Haymon to pull a you on you, Bob Arum. And I think that'll be the smartest thing to do, to his credit. Why not? I know the fans ain't gonna like it, but that's just some real G shit right there. We gone.